Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. And the title reads exactly what it seems. These board games sitting around me have raised a collective $14,882,914 publicly, not including what's been pledged and backed and added to the campaigns after, well, all the crowdfunding was closed on GameFound and Kickstarter. And that is absolutely insane. I wasn't gonna make this video, originally. And then I noticed that I had two active Kickstarters here on my shelf, prototype copies of them, that had raised over $1 million. And I began to think, what campaigns have we been involved with? Have we had the opportunity to cover and playtest and share with you, the community, over the course of the last 2 years doing content here on the channel, that we actually still have the prototypes of, that we could sit down and do additional coverage of or play if we wanted, that have raised over $1 million. And it began to sink in. It specifically began to sink in when AEG just recently announced that Dead Reckoning, due to conversations and online communities and people like us still continuing to talk about it, have decided to bring back Dead Reckoning for a second printing and a, upgrade or module or something next year. That struck a chord with me. I was like, really? You're telling me this prototype that I have right here next to me that I could sit down and hang out and share and do additional content of now might matter a little bit more. In fact, we have content planned for most all of these games at some point down the road because they're all pretty remarkable. So, what is this video? What did I want to talk about? What did I want to share? What did I want to dive into? I wanted to take a moment to look back at massive Kickstarter projects, to remember what is on the way, to ask you all, what out of these titles have you backed and supported? What are you excited to get your hands on? And what would you like to see more additional content of? Because we have the prototypes. These are games that are in demand, that were, requested and asked for. And so if you'd like to see more content, let us know in the comment section down below. I'd love to get these back to the table, and you all will give me every excuse in the book to do so. Let's start by highlighting the two games that are still actively on Kickstarter, Flamecraft and Arydia. These are going to be two vastly different games, both of which have recently crossed the $1 million line, neither of which do we as a company have any relationship with at all as reviewers or media. In fact, Arydia doesn't even know that I have their prototype. I might have stolen it from Board Game Co. after he was finished with it, and I might probably have to give it back at some point here soon. So, I should cover it as quickly as possible. We just got done doing a full 3.5-hour gameplay of it that'll be coming to the channel soon. Flamecraft is coming from a publisher that I really, really admire and appreciate. Cardboard Alchemy. They have one of my most anticipated games of the year, Mission Catastrophe, on the way. And again, other than being friendly, I have no relationship with them in any way. So, Arydia. Arydia just crossed 1 million. They're currently standing at 1,051,582, and congratulations to them. This is coming from Far Off Games, a publisher that is known for putting out amazing titles every, wide period of time. The designer, the developer, the producer of these games takes his time crafting something truly unique. And when he brings it to the table or brings it to an audience, he has a group of people ready and waiting and chomping at the bit to support and invest in his titles. And we'll have a lot more content coming out on this, but I can tell you from first impressions, if you like RPG hybrids, if you like adventure games and character classes and abilities and all those little fun mechanics, this game is innovating and doing some really amazing things when it comes to a storytelling adventure game on your table. I am thrilled with the amount of time I've been able to play it in the prototype form, and I cannot wait for the final form to come. And I just recently realized there's actually still a little box in here and a stack of cards that I haven't had the chance to open up and explore, so I might be spending some more time in this world before I have to ship it on. Flamecraft is going to be a really interesting tableau, resource management, and worker placement game where you're doing your very best to spread meeples and develop a little town as you're hiring and installing various little dragon kind into the region that are going to start generating you piles and piles of resources to accomplish certain objectives or quests. It's a really, really adorable game, which is one of the reasons that I think it's sung to success. Not only is the artwork, the theme, the style of it beautiful, but the gameplay is also incredibly solid. As far as a introductory worker placement and tableau building game, I think I'm going to see this game on store shelves for many, many years to come, and I am thrilled for them. They are currently sitting at $1,280,250, which is just mind-blowing. I gotta be honest, I didn't expect this little dragon-themed game to cross that $1 million mark until, of course, the campaign started and it just started skyrocketing, pile after pile after pile, and it deserves all the success it's got. I really think people are going to be super thrilled and excited when they get it into their hands. Let's keep moving down the line here. Dead Reckoning by AEG, the game that actually prompted this video to come out. As I was thinking through the prototypes that I still have on hand, Dead Reckoning is going to be a card crafting game where you're sailing through the open seas as pirates, doing your very best to build your ship out, construct your deck and hands of crew, and do your very best to deck build and card craft your way to victory. You're going to be able to conquer islands, put down territory control on certain terrain markers, pillage and loot for gold and resources, or just be a humble merchant sailing the open seas with your crew, bringing resources back to civilization and trading them for wealth. At the end of the game, whoever has the most success points or wealth, I think is going to be the winner. This is the first game that Alex Radcliffe and I ever played together, one of the very first that we ever covered over a year ago. And I would love a good excuse to get Dead Reckoning back to the channel and back onto the table, and AEG has certainly given me one. I think the people that are chomping at the bit and excited for this game to arrive are right on the dot. It is a remarkably fun game, and the card crafting system, I think, has been perfected in this unit. It's been a solid year plus since I played it last, and I gotta be honest, it still has fond memories for me. I'm still excited to get it back to the table, and you know, I've played a lot of games since then. Almost nothing has directly competed with what Dead Reckoning is doing in the play space or in the game space that it has. Let's move over, or up here, to Scarface 1920, one of the more recent games we've covered, and actually one of the most successful indie self-published games out there on the market from first-time creators. And I'm so thrilled for them because this prototype that they shipped, the game that they created, was magnificent. Probably one of the best games of the year so far. Scarface raised $1,016,986, which is just amazing. I really am so thrilled for all the success this little indie company has had. Scarface 1920 is going to set you as a mob boss in a sort of, I suppose, classical Chicago. You're going to be dropping into the scene, doing your very best to engage with warring factions, establish a bit of area control, build out your own personal tableau of resource generation when it comes to barrels and guns, and more importantly and most specifically, do a bit of deck building with special powers and ability that allow you to really manipulate the state of the game. The main core function or feature of the game is going to be worker placement in various regions as you decide whether or not you want to take control, earn coin, trade for resources, invest in the black market, or just become a crime boss that has the police purchased on your side. Scarface is going to be a massive hit when it arrives. I guarantee it. It is challenging for my top 20. It might even be in my top 10. I really just need that final copy to come in. And if you think you're getting this prototype out of my hands anytime soon before they have an official copy to deliver to me, you're wrong. There's absolutely no way that's going to happen. Oh, and just for full disclosure, so everyone knows where we stand, Dead Reckoning AEG I have absolutely no relationship with. Scarface did pay me to do a gameplay production video for them, which allowed me to show off the game. All the additional content we did was completely on my own, but if you swing over to those videos, you'll see some of them will show sponsored content in the corner. This video, of course, has no influence from any publisher, period. Moving on. Let's talk about these two gems here. One is going to be in a series of cardboard boxes, which doesn't look all that impressive, but actually raised the most money out of all of these titles. And the other is going to be here in its prototype demo box. ISS Vanguard raised a cool $4,912,097, and man, if we didn't produce a ton of content on ISS Vanguard. I absolutely loved getting this game to the table, and in fact, we are still playing through the second prototype copy that they sent us. This game is brilliant. I would say, and still will say, it is probably the best game that Awakened Realms has produced so far, with Tainted Grail and The Great Wall following close behind. I think people are going to be head over heels with this. It arrives. It is a storybook adventure game, a bit of crew management, a bit of ship upgrades and abilities and balancing kind of the swaying powers, but the core functionality of the game is just going to be going on this adventure where you're landing on spaceships and planets, exploring the central part of the galaxy and doing your very best to delve into the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. And if you know what the answer to that is, feel free to comment it down below as well. ISS Vanguard, mwah, mwah, mwah. Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon. I still have the prototype too. I actually should get this back to the table and do some more gameplay of it, especially with an updated rule set now. This was an interesting game to show off because it is harder and more complex than I originally had anticipated and raised the most money out of any of these. Darkest Dungeon raised $5,657,479. Oh, and Dead Reckoning raised $964,520. I don't know if I said that on camera or not. Darkest Dungeon has raised the most out of all of these prototypes we have sitting in front of us, and man, if it is not a head-scratcher. It does its very best to bring forth the feeling of the video game onto the table where you're maximizing and organizing your troop in a certain turn order that allows you to activate and really, really focus in on skills and abilities. This game is going to give everything that people who... Sorry about that. Stumbled through my words there a little bit. This game is going to provide everything to people who love a heady dungeon crawl, where you're exploring through the caverns and really min-maxing every action that you're taking, just like the video game does. I expected a little bit more of a lightweight dungeon romp, and Darkest Dungeon is a beefy game. I'm really looking forward to getting the finished version of it into my hands. I know Mythic has been doing a lot when it comes to prototype development and rulebook development and a lot of post-processing on this game since. And so it is one of those games that I am eagerly awaiting to see exactly what they have in store for me. I want to work my way through building a crew and various scenarios and really experience the full aspect of Darkest Dungeon, the video game, which is a video game that I absolutely adore, on the table. And come to think of it, I really do need to get another gameplay of this for people to check out. And just so we know, Awakened Realms, I absolutely adore the company. Again, I have no financial ties to them. And Mythic Games, I was contracted to do a gameplay of the Darkest Dungeon, either a gameplay or a preview. It's been about 8 months since we did it, but I was hired to do a video for it, and we did additional videos beyond what they asked us to do originally. So, that being said, these games around me, these prototypes spurred the funding from you all, the audience, of close to $15 million. When I started the channel, I had no idea I'd be in a position to play and table and share and just experience these games with and for you all. I get a chance to be sort of your eyes and ears as you decide where to invest your money and what games you want to bring to your table or put your hopes and dreams into. And I appreciate and really, really value having that opportunity. It's pretty remarkable to be sitting around so many titles that have had such an impact and will have such a big impact on you all, the audience, over the next few years. Let me know. What have you backed? What have you supported? What has my audience been the most excited for? And what do you want to see additional content of? That's one of the biggest questions here. If you've watched to this point, I assume you're a fan of the channel and also are invested in or have some of these games headed your way. So what are you still tied into? I am happy to get anything to the table that you'd like. I'm also happy to produce how to play videos, reach back out to the publishers for updated rules and components, and do my very best to continue instilling and sharing where these games are in their progression as they get, well, out of this prototype stage and finally get into your hands one day soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit of a weird take on the position we have, but I am so grateful for you all. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know one more time in the comment section down below what you've backed, what you've supported, and what you want to see more of. Whatever the case, though, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you next time. Thank you.